Hi Paddy, this is your very own demonstration video of your new Autotrail Tracker RB. Look at the outside first. Diesel filler, passenger side. There. Again, to the passenger side, you want to flip the bonnet. There's the catch there, that flips the bonnet. You've got a spare wheel in the back. Jack for that underneath the passenger seat. There you go. That case in there is a jack, and as I said, the spare wheel's on the back, as you know. Externally, you've got your gas bottle here. To turn that on, turn the valve anti-clockwise. That turns it on. It's opposite to what you think, so anti-clockwise turns it on. I'll turn that on now for the demonstration later. Passenger side rear. Barbecue point. You can get yourself a little gas barbecue, plug it in there, and then use that from the outside externally. Opposite side, underneath the water filler. This one's a water filler. Just put your key in there, turn it off, hose pipe in there. Below that is an external shower, hot and cold. The attachment for that is here. Okay, so that just attaches in there, and you've got an external shower. The previous guys rigged up a little power point here, 12 volts. If you're to buy a little submersible pump, you can put that into a water hog and then put it directly into your filler cap if you can't get a hose pipe to it. Moving along towards the driver's side, standard hookup point when you can hook up to 230 volts. Back to the passenger side, the awning on the left there, that's open by the winder handle, which is located inside the habitation door on the left. Toilet cassette, just lift this handle here and the cassette will pull out. You've then got a little handle on there that will allow you to use the wheels. When you put in fluid into the cassette, only ever put it into the cassette itself, not the toilet bowl, or you'll stain it. Just spin this off, and it's got a measuring device there. It's about 40 ml, so about 1 litre of water into that cassette. Okay, make sure that if you can't pull this out, it's because you've left the blade open in the toilet itself. So don't give it a yank. If it's tight like now, it won't come out because the blade is open. So make sure you go inside and flip it across. I'll show you that when we get inside. Now when you're using the gas boiler, you need to remove this vent cover. Okay, it'll fail if you don't remove the vent cover, so take the vent cover off. Good idea to put it inside, probably where the driver's seat is, so you don't forget to put it back on. Okay, so enter to the motorhome, habitation door, round button to the left. That's your electric step. Inside you've got the monitor, the TV monitor. The dial, the screen here must be on. You've got one remote for TV and one remote for the little screen on the dashboard. Whatever you see on the dashboard is put. Okay, now the main control switch or panel to the left, turn the power on. That's put the 12 volt system on. If you're going to use the water, you need to also put the pump switch on, but only ever put the pump switch on if there's water in the tank. So I'll turn that off for now. The arrows to the right, this will cycle through the rest of the control panel, so you can check the onboard systems. I'll press the down arrow there. Look, you see leisure battery 13.5, good. Vehicle battery 12.5, good. Fresh water, nothing in it. Wastewater, nothing in it. It'll also go through the current being used, so the systems on board now using 1.3 amps. Solar current's putting 2.6 amps, so it's quite sunny, so that's loading the batteries up, and an external temperature. So this is really just a control panel to show you what your systems are in the motorhome itself. Now the controls on the right, These are the hot water on gas, switch on the left, and this is the heating within the van on electric. Hot water on gas, heating within the van on electric. Now you can see the knob on the left can be either 50 degrees or 70 degrees. That's just the temperature of the water. So to use this gas control, we need to take the vent cover off, which we mentioned earlier, and all we do is flip it to whichever one you want. You've probably heard that click in. That's the boiler fired up. Okay, there's no water in the tank in the boiler, so I'm going to turn that off. That's as simple as that on gas. Now if you want to heat the vehicle on electric, we use the control on the right, but first of all we have to go to the control panel behind the driver's seat. Here's the control panel, and now I'm not hooked up to 230 volts, so I can't show you this properly, but if you want to use the water heater on electric, you'd have to press this switch, and if you wanted to use the space heater, that's the heat within the van we just spoke about, you'd have to press this switch. Okay, but because I'm not hooked up, obviously nothing's happening. Okay, so let's assume we've got those switches on. If you're going to heat the van internally, you've got the option of 500 watts, 1000 watts or 2000 watts. 500 watts will not heat it hardly at all. 2000 watts you need to put on if you can, if where you're plugged in to allow it, should do. Bear in mind, gas is far more efficient heating the van and the water than electric. Okay, so that's the heating on electric. Now we're looking at the heating of the van on gas. Now heating of the van on gas is by the gas fire. If we look at the control knob on the right, we just turn the knob. You can probably hear that clicking, that's the igniter. Press the knob, hold it down. And there she's fired. So now the gas is lit. Now the control knob on the left is the fan. So that distributes the air around the vehicle. Okay, simple as that. So this is the gas fire to heat the living accommodation. Now there's an inspection port on the side of the fire. You can just see it there. You can see the flames lit. Okay, so you can check this lit. You'll hear it fire up, but if you want to check it, just look through that inspection port. You have to get at the right angle to see it, and you can hear the fan blowing now. Now I said earlier, to use the heating or hot water heating on electric, the main switch within the cupboard has to be turned on, and then the switch for it, believe it or not, is down the left hand side of the bed, so it's a little bit awkward. So I'm at the very rear of the motorhome, and you can see the switch there. Essentially you've got 1000 and 2000 watts. So the first switch is 1000 watts on electric, and the bottom switch is 2000 watts on electric. So flip whichever one you want. 2000 watts is obviously going to heat it quicker. So this is the switch that heats the water on electric, but only when you've switched on the switch within the cupboard we mentioned at the start of the video. Okay, now what you must remember, only ever put the water pump on when there's water in the tank, and only ever put the heating on, the water heating. You can put the heating of the motorhome on, but only ever put the water heating on when there's water in the boiler. Now remember, the way to do that is to turn the pump on, put a tap on hot setting. I've got no water in here so I can't show you, but put it on a hot setting and turn the tap on. If you've got a continuous flow of water through a tap on the hot setting, you know there's water in the boiler and it's safe to put the heating on, either with gas or electric. But remember, you can still put the heating within the motorhome, that's the habitation heating, with no water in the boiler. Okay, the gas and electric cooker is just a standard cooker you'd have at home. Obviously you can use the electric plate if you're hooked up to 240 volts, but obviously if not, you use the gas. Now to use the gas you must have the power turned on to enable the igniter to fire. Okay, so that you can hear it there. So you just turn that on. I can't do it with one hand. You just turn the knob, hold it down, and press the igniter. That'll ignite. So make sure you've got the 12-volt switch turned on, or it won't light. Also remember to make sure the glass plate is fully back, because these cookers have a little valve shut off for safety, so you don't put it all the way back, it stops the gas. So I mentioned the toilet cassette earlier. If you look to the underneath the bowl, you can see there's a blade. Now what that does, it just opens or closes access to the cassette. I'm not sure if you can see that, but if you leave this open and try and pull the cassette out, you won't be able to. So make sure this is closed before you try to remove the cassette. And you use the toilet by simply pressing the blue button. Okay, now it brings a fan on with this one. It's not going to dispense water because there's no water in the system. So now it's closed, I can pull this out. Difficult one hand. There you go. And there's your little carrying strap, rod.